YNR spoilers. Noah and Audra's unexpected reunion, bad blood boils over? The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease ex-lovers Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, and Audra Charles Zuleika Silver will have an unexpected reunion on the CBS soap. For Noah's part, their relationship, which took place in London, was very traumatic, causing him to leave Genoa City again when he found out Audra had moved there. Noah's side of the story and Audra's explanation, which he didn't believe. Noah's side of the story was that he and Audra were deeply in love and making plans to spend the rest of their lives with each other. And then she just disappeared. No warning, no explanation, no trying to work anything out, just one of those terrible absentee dumps. Needless to say, Audra not only broke his heart, she totally broke his trust, as he was badly burned. When he came back home to Genoa City, he encountered Audra, who claimed she left because she had miscarried his child and she couldn't handle it. Noah was sure that she made it all up, and it was a really sick and twisted excuse to make he went back to London. Noah and his ill-advised married girlfriend Sienna Bacall come to Genoa City. Noah and his ill-advised married girlfriend Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun, come to Genoa City to get away from her husband and the Newman's enemy, Matt Clark aka Mitch Bacall, Roger Howarth. Little does Noah know that Audra knows Sienna and Mitch, and she conned someone out of $500,000 who was a customer of the Shadow Club, Sienna and Mitch's club. Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, has been helping her keep the secret, which has another, very dark part to it. They may be covering up a murder. It's only a matter of time before Noah and Audra encounter each other again in Genoa City, and might Sienna be with him at the time? And will that make things even worse? Bad blood boils over in an intense confrontation. It turns out that Sienna is with Noah when they spot Audra with Holden, and Noah is shocked when Sienna recognizes them both, and tells her story about the customer. Sienna is just as shocked when Noah tells her his story about Audra in London, and how she claimed she miscarried his baby, and her sob story about not being able to handle it. The timelines of when Audra conned the Shadow Club customer and showed up in London are close enough to make it obvious she used that money to go to London. Holden remains calm, but Audra is shocked to see Sienna walking towards her with Noah. And bad blood boils over in an intense confrontation, as Audra is demanded to explain where the $500,000 went and proof that she miscarried Noah's baby. Genoa City was wrapped in that familiar late winter chill, the kind that crept under wool coats and settled deep in old wounds. The kind of cold that made memories feel sharper and grudges harder to ignore. Noah Newman hadn't intended to run into Audra Charles that afternoon. In fact, he'd gone to society specifically to avoid thinking about her. The low hum of conversation and soft clink of glasses felt grounding as Noah sat at a corner table, staring down at his untouched espresso. Ever since returning to Genoa City, he'd been fighting a war inside himself. Between the man he used to be and the man he was trying to become. Between the heartbreak he buried in London and the future he desperately wanted to build. He didn't notice her at first. Not until the air shifted. Not until a familiar presence slid into the seat across from him without asking. "Wow," Audra said lightly, her perfectly glossy lips curving into a smile that held absolutely no warmth. "You'd think after everything, you'd be the one hiding, but here you are. Out in the open." Noah's jaw tightened. He looked up slowly. "I didn't know Genoa City added ambush lunches to the menu." Her laugh was soft. Dangerous. Exactly how he remembered it. "I heard you were back," Audra said. "I figured it was only a matter of time before fate shoved us into the same room." Noah leaned back, folding his arms. "Fate or you?" For a split second, something flickered in her eyes, guilt maybe. Or irritation. It vanished just as quickly. "Relax," she said. "I'm not here to start World War III. I just saw you and thought we should clear the air." "Clear the air," Noah repeated, dry and skeptical. "You vanished. You lied. You almost destroyed my life." Audra's smile stiffened. "You broke my heart," he added quietly. The words hung between them, heavy and raw. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Around them, society carried on, oblivious waiters, laughing patrons, clattering plates. But at that table, time felt frozen. Audra shifted in her chair, crossing her legs. "You weren't exactly innocent in that disaster, Noah." He barked a humorless laugh. "Really? You closed yourself off," she said. "You never let me in. You were always halfway out the door, halfway back to some fantasy version of who you thought you were supposed to be." "I was trying to be honest. You were trying to be safe." Silence again. Noah rubbed his thumb along the rim of his cup. "So why now, Audra? Why walk up to me after all this time?" Her gaze dropped, just briefly. Because I didn't expect to see you walking around like nothing happened, she admitted. It threw me. Something shifted in Noah's chest at that, a painful, traitorous flicker of something dangerously close to understanding. Life doesn't give us the courtesy of staying broken forever, he said quietly. She looked up then, really looked at him. And for the first time, Noah saw cracks in her armor. You look different, Audra said. So do you. A shadow passed over her face. I made a lot of decisions I'm not proud of, Audra confessed. I hurt people. I hurt you. And I told myself it didn't matter. She paused, fingers tightening around her water glass. I told myself you didn't matter. The silence that followed was louder than any shouting match they'd ever had. Noah swallowed. And now? She hesitated. Now I'm not so sure. The tension was electric, not romantic, not exactly, but something dangerous and unresolved. Like
Noah
stepping
stood
on
slowly.
exposed wire. I think this is where I go. Audra tilted her head. Running. No, he said. Protecting what little peace I've managed to build. She studied him, searching. You deserve peace, Noah, she said softly. Even if I'm not part of it. He almost smiled. Almost. He picked up his coat. Take care, Audra. He started toward the exit, but her voice stopped him. Wait. He turned. If we run into each other again, she said carefully, can we do it without knives drawn? He held her gaze for a long moment. That depends, he said. Are you still carrying one behind your smile? Her lips twitched despite herself. Always, she said. He watched her for one last beat, the woman who had been his heartbreak, his lesson, his scar. Then he walked out. But from the shadows near the bar, unseen by either of them, a familiar pair of eyes had been watching the entire exchange. Kyle Abbott lowered his glass slowly. His expression wasn't surprised. It was calculating. And as he slipped his phone from his pocket and began typing a message, only one thought crossed his mind. This reunion could be exactly the weapon I've been looking for. Outside, Noah paused for just a moment, breathing in the cold Genoa city air. Some wounds didn't bleed. They burned. And somewhere behind him, Audra Charles sat very still, wondering if reopening the past might cost her far more than she'd ever planned to lose.